relationships are the most critical component of any business, right? Relationship building, I think, is such an important skill set for anybody, but especially for athletes, right? As an athlete, you have the ability, because of your platform, to get a seat at any table, right? You can call somebody and say, hey, Sue would love to, learn more about how you guys are running this hospitality group. 99% of groups where you'd be like, yeah, we'd love to have him and show him kind of our playbook and what we're doing. That's not unique to you and I, right? Any athlete in any city they have those opportunities, right? And a lot of guys don't take advantage of that.
That's where the unfair advantage comes from. It's not because you got money. It's not because you have all these other aspects or you're the smartest person or whatever. You came up with a brilliant idea. It's, do you have unfair advantages via relationships? No Free Lunch is presented by T. Rowe Price. The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified financial and or legal professionals before making any legal or financial decisions or investments. I'm Ndamukong Suh, and welcome to No Free Lunch, where we talk to experts and athletes about how the most successful people in sports manage their money and grow their wealth. Danny, what's poppin'?
What's up, man? We're in the windy city. It's not quite cold just yet.
It is not. It is beautiful and sunny out in the city of Chicago right now, and I am enjoying every bit of it. I walked this morning in Millennial Park.
Ooh,
what a beautiful place.
Yeah, I used to live in Chicago, so these are low key my old stomping grounds. I gotta go talk to some people after we're done here. But you're in. Is this considered enemy territory, as a former Lion, or how do you feel about it?
No doubt enemy territory, but Chicago has been nothing and showed nothing but love to the Suh family. So I enjoy being here, even though it is considered enemy territory.
And speaking of connections, our guest today, Israel Idonije, I know he's doing a lot in the city, and a lot of it, the hospitality and so many different spaces in the city that he's been able to create since his playing days and even now. I feel like he's really built a community here, and it speaks to the homegrown love of the Chicago Bears and the community. And even when I lived here, I felt that community. People are proud to be from Chicago. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that, man. You see it through and through. I landed yesterday at ORD, and it was crazy. I mean, I got off the plane and I'm on my way to go get a rental car, and I look at it, it's like, wow, Bears jerseys everywhere, and they're 2-2, man. They still got all the love and pride out in this city. But I mean, Israel definitely has done an amazing job. I've known him since I got into this league, but we really got close back in 2012, 2013 when we played together in Detroit.
Okay.
And I mean, we always keep in contact. So it was great to obviously see him just continue to blossom and grow. And I'm excited for this conversation. Like, he's just one of those dudes that I aspire to continue to build after. And he showed me so many lessons. So I'm excited to hear what's new he's working on, talk about some other previous successes he's already had, which I'm sure are still flourishing at a high level, and then go from there.
I'm curious, before we get into that conversation, I feel like a lot of our convos on this show are about you being a mentor or a voice to other players. Was Israel one of those players for you, a guy that you could look up to, or at least even as an example in the league?
Without question, Israel is definitely one of those guys that I see. I mean, he's one older than me by a handful of years, if not a little bit more. I think he got into the league in 2003, and he's just one African, so just that connection there. But then just seeing sharp business dude, and you could see him seeing that success off the field and how he leverages those relationships and really fosters and nourishes the relationships. And really, I've connected with him with a couple people that are pretty powerful here in the city, and they always rave about, man, I appreciate you having that connection and connecting us. Like, he's a salt alert type of dude. Let's get right into it right here on No Free Lunch. Israel, my guy Izzy, man, thank you for coming on the show. We're here in Chicago. How you been?
Thanks for having me. No, it's good to be here. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you, boss.
Big things.
Yeah, trying to get like you one day. One day I'll get there for sure. But I want to jump into it, man. We obviously played together in Detroit. Had a blast there, but the meat of your career was here in Chicago, and we played against each other a lot of times and whatnot, twice a year. Where are you at from a memory standpoint of those games and stories that we had, not only in Detroit but here in Chicago, going against each other?
I mean, I don't remember much, right? Like my memory, when like guys who have the ability to like recall plays and moments, it's like that's always fascinated me. You know, I'm not one of those guys. I mean, I look back at my time in Chicago as an incredible part of my journey. Some great years. The Detroit Bears matchups were always legendary. Y'all always ended up with the short end of the stick.
I don't know about that, man.
There's a couple there. You know, the one that Calvin dropped in the end zone.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. Hold on. Maybe in your early days, but them last couple years, why you came to Detroit is because you wanted to be on a winning team.
For sure. Listen, I had a lot of love for Detroit. It was towards the end. I wish I could have been healthier for my time in Detroit, you know, and I realized like, hey, I think this is it was, we were playing the Bears at Soldier Field. I was left end and I read the play perfectly. It's like a reverse Alshon Jeffrey. And I couldn't catch him with my feet. Like I read everything perfect. I stuck my foot and I was running after Alshon and he just pulled away and I was like, somebody get that guy. Somebody tackle him. And I just realized like the body had enough, right? It was the end. But we always had some major battles. You know, Dominic Raiola at the nose for you guys is just a nasty, filthy. I love Dominic.
Dom was definitely different.
He used to get after it, and it just made for a really great rivalry.
No, for sure, man. I appreciate that. That was tons of fun. Obviously, our relationship blossomed. Obviously, the year that we got to spend together in Detroit, and to really brought to us super close to where we're at right now. I want to talk and go back really early childhood. Born in Nigeria. Moved to Manitoba in Canada, and then got to the States. What was like that? What was that transition like being 4 years old, coming to not only to North America, but Canada and then to the US?
Yeah, I mean, I have really fond memories of coming to Canada. My father was a minister. I grew up in a missionary family, you know, and at the age of 4, you know, they did a really great job for myself and my siblings, sheltering us from really just knowing how little we had, right? Service work is hard. Mission work is hard. And they committed their lives to, you know, spreading the word of God, but to also really supporting those who had nothing, right? The homeless. You know, we did a program called Street Love where my father fed people the 1st and 15th of every month. And we'd have to go grab the groceries and stuff, that produce that grocers would give us, we would give to the homeless and make soups and sandwiches. Like that was my upbringing. And, you know, as a child, you know, growing up in the church, I actually always struggled with the concept of like this amazing God. Like, how do we have so little, you know, if God can provide everything for us? And not until I was older did I realize like me making it to the NFL and having all this success and being able to win in these different facets of my career, you know, God blessed my parents through me, right? He blessed our parents through us.
For sure. Ain't no doubt about that.
And I'm just so thankful for all the things I learned through, you know, being a part of those programs, working alongside my father and my mother in ministry. And that's also why it was really important for me to give back in now having this incredible platform that is the NFL.
No, man, you definitely give a lot back, especially to the city of Chicago, which I give a ton of kudos for you that, but obviously you've had a lot of success in the business world, let alone in sports world. You mentioned how little you guys had growing up, and was money an issue? Was it something that you guys talked about, or was it frowned upon to talk about? So what was the earliest memories of money when it came to you and your family, and how you guys dealt with that?
Yeah, we never talked about money, right? It's like, it was just not something that we talked about. I had no sense of like financially what was going on in our household. You know, I think for me, what I realized early was like I needed to go get my own money, right? And my first job was a paper boy, right? And I used to deliver like 6 blocks of papers, right? And flyers and anything I could do just to like make myself some money. It's a funny story. It was like my mother went to Nigeria for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And my father, amazing chef when it comes to Nigerian food. Horrible when it comes to American food.
For sure.
And my father, at the beginning of the 2 weeks, bought like all this Bisquick pancake mix.
Okay.
And we had like boxes of these carrots.
Yeah.
So he shaved carrots in a grate, mixed it in with the pancake mix, and put this massive tub of carrot pancakes in the fridge and said, hey, when you guys are hungry,
go in there.
Help yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, thankfully I had a paper route and I had my little paper money. I had a drawer full of like chocolate bars, chips, and junk food. And like earlier on, I was like, listen, if I want my own independence and like, I got to be able to make my own money. And I remember that being a poignant moment where I didn't have to eat carrot pancakes. Yeah. Because I could provide for myself with the money I made from delivering papers.
Yeah. That's crazy because my dad, like it was probably, I started living with my dad in my freshman year of high school because I used to get in a bunch of trouble and he was like, you're going to start living with me. But he was like, if you're going to eat in this household, you're going to learn how to cook too.
All right.
So it wasn't even an opportunity. He didn't even say, hey, here's some groceries. No, you go to the grocery store, you figure out what you want to do. And ours was Hamburger Helper. Nice. He was like, you make your own mess and then that's what you're going to eat. Clean it up.
So you had to cook
for
yourself.
I had to cook for myself. And I learned real quick, like if I'm going to be eating, I'm going to stay big. I got to find out how to cook. So let's talk a little bit more about kind of the struggles and what was the emotions like. And like you talked about, it wasn't something that you guys talked about. You went and got your own money from a standpoint of being paper boy. But as you got older, did it become a conversation with the family at some point in time, especially when you became successful and saw that you're going to be able to get to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I look at the stages, when I went to the University of Manitoba, again, there were a lot of times where we had financial hardships as athletes. And even through all that, I never, like my parents always did what they could to provide. And at some point, I really didn't even want to go to them to like, you know, hey, I need money for books or I need money for, you know, whatever it might be, fees for, you know, in Canada, we had to, you know, pay to be a part of some of these programs that we played in. And, you know, at the University of Manitoba specifically, Tom Suffield was like the financial aid guy for athletes. Tom, I love you. You know, Tom Suffield single-handedly was just critical to me being able to like make sure I had enough money through financial aid to fund what I needed through my 4 years at the University of Manitoba. Yeah. You know, I had a great coach, Brian Doby. You know, even when I had an opportunity to get to the Browns and I needed a suit and I needed to like, you know, be presentable. You know, Coach Doby called a Men's Warehouse. They went and got me suits. Like there's a lot of love and support in that capacity. And most of it, knowing that my parents didn't have much, I never wanted to be a financial burden to them, you know, and we didn't really start having financial conversations till I started having money. Okay. Yeah. Now it's like, hey, let's talk about, you know, and just, you know, I made a ton of mistakes. So like when I made my first $1 million, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. Let's talk about those mistakes. What were some of those particular mistakes that you made that have changed your course and your path to where you're at right now? Because I mean, I know enough about you because we're close, but share to the audience, like what were some of those mistakes that you made and how has it influenced your path right now?
Well, I think on the family front, you know, I paid off my parents' house. I just I bought everybody cars. Yeah. Right. Like, I mean, those are things I wouldn't suggest for any young guy making money to do today. Right.
I 100% agree with that.
There's just better ways to accomplish the same goal, but not use your cash, right? Hold on to the cash. You don't know how long I was fortunate. I was one of the fortunate ones to play 11 years. That's hard to do, right?
Very hard.
In the NFL. And, you know, so hold on to your cash, you know, let your parents, let everybody in the family know, like, hey, like just because I have this little money, you know, it's not that much, right? Yeah. You know, my first deal was 1.6 million was my signing bonus. Right?
For how many years?
3
years.
3 years.
That's crazy. Because what draft were you in? 07?
03.
03?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm old, man. I saw a grown man the other day.
Yeah.
Had a son.
Yeah.
I mean, looked like 40.
Yeah.
You know, and he said, hey, man, I used to watch you with my dad. You're my favorite player. I said, man, I'm old.
Hey, man, trust me. I know how you feel. I'll be anywhere. And a kid would be like, man, I used to watch you when I was a little kid. And he's a grown kid in college and all types of stuff.
You're like, wow.
This is insane. For sure. Well, I want to ask you a little bit more about this money side of things. What did you spend your first check on? And how did that go about?
Yeah, my first check, for the most part, and we often talk about money going backwards.
Yeah.
Right. And, to a young athlete today, the goal is let your money go forward. Yeah. And you got to be smart. You do, especially us, our community. We want to take care of mom, dad, grandpa, brothers, sisters, right?
And that it's expected in our community.
Oh, for sure.
And we're talking about not only the Black community, but primarily the African community, because African community is, you made it to the States.
Oh.
Everybody back home,
we made it.
We all made it.
We made it. And there's balance there, right? And it's true, right? Like all these people that poured into you, they really celebrate with you when you win and have success. Yeah. And you just need to be smart in how you give back to your family specifically. To myself, I consider, yes, I needed to do it, but I could have done it more efficiently. And do it in a way that helps your family learn and level up, right? Yeah. It's like, you just give them all money. No one in my family learned anything. Yeah. They were just like...
It's a form of enabling.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of people and athletes don't realize that you're enabling your family members and your friends to say, oh, it's just coming off a tree because it's just coming out of your pocket.
That's right.
Versus teaching them and saying, hey, this is how I earned it. This is a way that I'm going to put you in a positive position to have success. So like knowing that and understanding like, what have you done differently not to enable your family and or friends or just people in general in your life as you're moving forward and continue to build that success? Because I've always believed to say, use me as a stepping stone, but don't tear me down.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think when it comes to family, it's, especially now, right? Now I've been fortunate to do a couple contracts. I've been fortunate to have success off the field. Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what you made overall? I mean, I can go look it up too.
In the league, yeah. Well, in the league, I think I ended up around 20 million.
Okay. Yeah.
Over my 11-year career.
Yeah.
Which, when I look at myself statistically,
and
what I made versus what some of these young boys is making today.
Oh my God.
We played in the wrong era, my guy.
Let's not even talk about the league. I'm talking about college.
Oh my God. Oh,
Let me go back to college.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
you wouldn't been paid. You probably still were paid.
Nah, I wish I was. I wish I was.
This is America.
I wish I would. The most I got was some free tent.
Oh, come on. They were giving you brown bags, If
I would have went to potentially Tennessee or one of them southern states, like Mississippi State where my sister was, if I would have stayed committed there, maybe things would have been a little bit different.
Castle's getting paid.
Yeah. So moving on, your 18-year-old self, what's one piece of advice when it comes to money that you would have given yourself or somebody else?
Yeah, that's hard because despite the challenges, I've had some success with how aggressive I've been in trying to learn, level up, be a mentee, and really break out of the football like ceiling, right? Okay. And there's guys who can make a lot of money through their career. And if you're just smart with that money, you'll be set for the rest of your life.
For sure.
But to break through that and still be able to make $1 million, $2 million more a year is, until you retire, you realize that's hard to do. Yeah. Right? It's hard to make, even to make $250,000 a year.
Very difficult.
It's hard to do in the real world.
And I'm talking about like $250,000 post-taxes, cash in your pocket.
Hard to do.
AKA you got to make $500,000.
That's right.
To see $250 in your bank account.
That's right. Well, and that point I was actually going to make when we were talking about giving money to your family and friends.
Yeah.
They don't realize that $100,000 I might have given you to, pay off your house or whatever, that's $200,000 I had to make of like blood, sweat, and tears that you take and put no thought to because you think like I have a money tree in my backyard, right?
Yeah.
And that's really like a important part of the education to the family, right? And then to the friends, you gotta excel at saying no, right? You just gotta excel at saying no. And what you'll find is folks will find a way.
Yeah.
They'll find a way outside of you being the easy button, you know?
Yeah. Which is true, man. I think that's one thing that I took for granted and still sometimes till this day take for granted. My sister was like the ultimate no person. She was like, no, you ain't giving me this. And you definitely not giving everybody else this as well. So I think that's something. Did you ever have a no person in your family that was be able to support you?
No. Like, your sister is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have like someone as sharp as she is in your corner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just mission critical. You know, for me, no, I didn't. I'm a swinger, right? I'll take a shot.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
And I think early on, what I learned was, especially on like the business side, every idea is amazing. Yeah. Every idea is a home run, right? It's just like, and then after you've invested in a few things, and these are sharp guys.
Yeah.
And you see like even these really sharp, successful business guys are losing 90% of the time in what they're investing in. You take a step back and like, listen, I can lose my own money. I don't need help. Right? Yeah. You know, and then it was just like, listen, I'm just going to invest in things that I'm a part of, that I own, I can control. You know, I had a couple of deals that we had opportunities for exits, but the principals were like, nah, we think we can get more.
Man,
and then
too many of those I've been a part of.
You end up with nothing. You end up with nothing, right? Yeah.
One of my last questions on this money side of things, what is something that you spend on with no limits and it stays that way till this day?
What's something that I would spend on with no limits?
Yeah, like for me, I look at it as like, I'm not there yet, but my eventual goal is to have my own plane.
Yeah.
And I will spend to no limits to being able to fly private.
So once you hit your number, you'll have your number and you'll always fly private.
Yes.
Yeah. What's something that I would spend on to no limit? I mean, getting to a number one day where I could fly private is on my vision board.
Okay.
Right. That's like next level money. What's that number for you?
Well, from my research and my understanding, I've got to be on a consistent basis, depending on the size of plane, because I like a big plane.
Depends on what you
I like a big plane. So I like a Challenger 350 or a Gulfstream.
Yeah, you want a big boy.
Yeah, okay. I want a big boy. My research is on a size of aircraft, really, and it's really the most efficient aircraft is the Falcon 2000. So that's really with winglets. I didn't study this.
Dude, you've done your research.
So my research and my understanding of it, and please, I'd love to have this as the next conversation, anybody who's an expert in the space. But ultimately, you got to be able to, one, buy the plane first and foremost. And you can do financing and all those different things, which JP Morgan has some great stuff out there that I actually was just reading about and reading within the private bank. But it's about $1 million and $1.5 million annually after the purchase to maintain, be able to fly about 250 hours a year and things of that nature. And so for me, let's just use a simple round number, $1 million. I got to be making anywhere from $2 to $2.5 million. So I'm looking at it conservatively. I probably got to have a nest egg of about 5 million liquid that's paying for all those different expenses and unforeseen situations that come up with it. So I can conservatively make a solid percentage off of that to be able to pay.
So have a separate nest egg of 5 million that's just funding your flight package. Yeah. And why not just rent the plane?
What do you mean just rent it, as in like do a fractional ownership?
Yeah, do fractional.
I've thought about it, and I think there's some different things that can go into that. And so it really just kind of carves the cat of where you want it. But I also look at it as saying, Trump just put in 100% depreciation. So from a tax proficiency perspective, I want to buy the plane in totality, get that depreciation, find some different opportunities. Wholeheartedly. I'm not flying 250 hours private by myself. I'm, let's say 50 to 100. And then charter out the rest and then offsets the cost. So that's kind of how I've been thinking through it. I'm not quite there, but I think New York Times and The Athletic are going to put me over the top. They're going to get me there. They're going to get me there.
Well, it's interesting because that whole tax game is something I've really focused a lot of energy. Even when you look at what I'm doing with like real estate and hospitality, right? The tax benefits, if you're structured correctly, right, are immense, you know? And then when I look at, so to your question, you know, I got a boat on my list. I got a jet on my list. You know, we just launched the Navy Pier Marina this year, right adjacent to Navy Pier. It's a top tier, right?
Hey man, we got some beef, man. You be doing all these things. I done came to Chicago with you. We done walked buildings. We done walked hotels. I'm hearing about marinas, and we gonna get into these business conversations because I
got some beef with you.
Why is that?
That's like, it's been like 2-3 times now. You've been landed in Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
And someone will hit my phone like, hey man, I'm at Tradito with Sue. I'm like, what? Hold on. Oh, interesting. All right, I'm gonna come down there.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
Next time, hey, Sue's in town. You want to do a show? Like, oh, Sue's in town.
Hey,
everyone's telling me, but my guy.
The last time, and that's our guy, Les, Mr. Coney, which is now becoming family to me.
Yeah.
He's already been family, but like legit family because of my little sister. Yeah, that was on him. I had just landed.
Listen, I'm just saying.
I had just landed, and y'all are neighbors.
We're neighbors, yeah.
So that's an unfair advantage. But I understand.
No, it's all love. I know you're busy.
Before I even get to ORD, I'm gonna hit my guy.
Yeah, listen, if you ever need, I know you're covered in the city. If you ever need, especially if you know, Les is like the mayor, right?
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit. I really want to talk about your business ventures and where you're sitting right now. Do you care to talk about the communion wines?
Yeah, communion. Blessed is our core business.
Yep.
And blessed is what allows us to sleep at night. You know,
that's your cash cow.
It's my cash cow. I'm so grateful for my team, for the ecosystem that has allowed us to build that business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started that company while I was playing.
Yep.
You know, had a handful of investors, and actually I rarely ask folks for investment, you know, but I had Adewale Agunle, Brendan Ian Badejo, Devin Hester all invested and blessed when I like had this idea to like take this machine that was doing inline pre-filled communion cups.
Yeah.
You know, I bought a 60,000 square foot warehouse. We moved the machine in, we turned it on, and like every cup coming off the machine was like crushed, grape juice everywhere. And for 2 years, we struggled to make money out of the business.
Wow.
You know,
okay.
I lost $2 million my first 2 years. And at the end of that second year, we made our first $1 million in gross profit. Right.
Okay.
And then from there, we've just grown it to really be an industry leader in that space and to be able to really do some big numbers every year.
No, that's amazing, man. So you lost your initial capital of $2 million, and then a couple years later, were able to become profitable and get $1 million plus, and you're growing continuously from that standpoint from Blessed. But where do you look at having liquid cash on hand versus having money tied up into some of these businesses that you're creating?
So, I mean, I think you silo every business, right? You know,
for sure.
So like Blessed, I have 3 partners.
Yep.
You know, some of them I don't. It's just me, right? So it's like a business that's just me. Generally, I have a little bit more flexibility with how I want to handle things, right?
Yep.
But you know, generally, we like to distribute money out of Blessed every year to everybody, right?
Yep.
So like all my partners there, you know, listen, send me a nice Christmas present every year.
Or you're making your distribution.
You know, we've all done really well with that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, so there it's like, hey, we want everybody to make sure that they're covered, make sure they are seeing the benefits of just the growth of the company.
Yeah.
And we've reinvested also, like we've reinvested into the building. We bought a second machine, right? The building needs work every year. Right now we're redoing the entire roof. That's like a $400,000 ticket, right? So it's like you make these reinvestments. Now our building was a $4 million purchase, right? So it's like the ability to balance that, right? And I wouldn't say you need to necessarily hold a bunch of cash, right? In that business particular, we have a strong client base. We somewhat communion in churches is somewhat of an annuity, where it's like, you know, we have a really strong forecast as far as our projections every year and what we'll do. And we just gotta be smart with how we grow the business and how we just manage, you know, our growth year over year. And I'm happy if we do 10, 15%, 20% on that. And then just understanding like when we made our first $1 million to when we crossed 5 million to when we crossed 10 million, right? These are all very, you need different skill sets, different personnel. at all levels of growth in these companies.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like your biggest win to date is Bless, but I'm curious because I know you've big in hospitality, and Chicago is a massive hospitality city, but then also you're a part owner of the NWSL team and the Chicago Red Stars. And then you also have this recent opportunity that you just created and Ask the Doctor, like out of these investments that you've done to date, where are you seeing as your biggest win, or is it truthfully just Bless at the moment and these pieces are ramping up?
Yeah, I mean, Bless has been great. When I look at, these other ventures that I'm in, the hospitality space is amazing. But in hospitality, I consider myself like I'm a rookie.
Yeah.
Right. So I opened my first steakhouse. It made a lot of mistakes. Right. I opened my second, which is a sports bar. We tightened up. Execution of that was much better.
Yeah.
I just opened up my third space. It's only 1,000 square feet. It's the smallest of the three, but it will be the most successful of the three. It's the best as far as the brand and the execution. And I have 3 more coming on the hospitality side. We're doing a 154 key hotel with Hilton.
Oh, wow.
That's going to come online 2026.
Okay.
The city is involved. We have great partners that are involved with that. That'll have 3 restaurants in it. So hospitality, I consider myself, I'm on a full, I'm just learning, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better as understanding how to really create a simple concept that people can grasp and fall in love with and want to come to 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
And then how do you do that? And at the end of the day, we're doing this to make money, right? So it's like we're getting better on just like understanding, like how do you take 10, 15% to the bottom line in these concepts every year. So I'm really excited. The first year in hospitality, I'm thankful for. Yeah. I'm really excited about year 2, year 3. I'm trying to like vertically integrate as much as I can into the hospitality space. And then outside of that, I think, so I'm excited about that. But that's like long game.
So one question for you when it comes to hospitality, and I think I know this answer, but for me, the bug that I got from hospitality was early on. And right when I left college, I was able to join forces with a group called Flagship Restaurant Group. They had an amazing restaurant, Blue Sushi in Omaha, Nebraska. And I asked them, hey, you got to put one down in Lincoln. They fought me a little bit, but ended up doing it. And I got to invest, but I had great operators and partners there. And I put a small investment. I was only 25%. I've been able to increase, and actually we're in conversations now for me to join the parent company. And that parent company is doing $400 million a year and all types of stuff and whatnot. And so ultimately, I had a lot of success early on and got that bug and excitement. Plus, I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
What was the reason why you got into hospitality?
Well, first, I love food, right? And so much of our lives, D-line dinner, right? When you get downtown Saturday, we'd all go to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
After game, you take the family to eat somewhere. Like we are in restaurants all the time. So early, it was really like, hey, I'd love to take people to my spaces and my places and like be able to break bread in places that we have ownership in. And through my career, that struggled, right?
Yeah.
While I played, the handful of restaurants I invested in all failed, right? And then I started the hotel project. And initially I thought I was going to just get somebody third party to run those, which was challenging. Didn't happen. I said, let me just figure this out myself. And I dove in, and having invested. So I'm an investor in Adelina Prime here, which is like the hottest restaurant in the city right now. I'm an investor in Adelina, their Italian concept. We have 2 restaurants at Navy Pier offshore, which is the largest rooftop in North America. Guinness World Record.
Congrats.
It's amazing. Lyrica, and then the hotel at Navy Pier. So now just being involved as an investor, I had a front row seat into a little bit of the playbook, right? Which I never had before. Before I was just an investor and like I went about my business.
You were a silent investor.
That's
more
right.
or less.
That's right. Now I'm able to just get into the details more and just see like, how are they moving money to the bottom line? How are they, front of house, back of house, their labor numbers, right? And the details that if you don't have these formulas correctly, you're never going to make.
And everything is about percentages.
Exactly.
And when you look at that from being a silent investor, what amount of capital did you put in as a silent investor versus an active investor now in hospitality, the amount of initial capital that you're putting in?
Yeah, I mean, as a silent investor, it's a fraction of it, right? Yeah. You're investing $100,000, right, in a project, right? And you're investing, smaller amounts. And I think the Navy Pier Hotel, which is the hotel and 2 restaurants, we might have put, I think, maybe $1 million in that project, right? When it comes to my projects, my first concept, I put in way too much. I spent like $800,000 on my steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
My next one, I spent 200.
Okay.
Right. And it's just, I tightened up and it's very different. And so every one I'm learning, like, the things that were important to me. Yeah. Initially, guess what? They don't matter.
And that's crazy that you say that.
They don't matter.
What's important to you from a hospitality perspective doesn't always translate to the patrons.
That's right.
And so having that learning lessons, what were some of those items that you picked up on quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I think just some of the details around like the flooring and like, hey, this thing is like something that I'm paying attention to is like, don't touch the floor if it doesn't need to be touched.
If it's decent,
right.
leave it.
Leave it, right? Although it might not be what I envisioned.
Yeah.
For me to strip this whole floor out and change it, because like it doesn't match, guess what? No one's going to know when they come in here, right?
Yeah.
The things that clients touch, you got to get those right? Mm-hmm. The branding piece, the story, the narrative, the food's got to be on point. The service has got to be on point, right? The lighting, and you, until you get in it, do you start to like make the mistakes and learn? And if you're doing it right, hopefully you learn those lessons and you can move them to successes as you progress forward.
Have you had any mentors in the space that have really supported you, or has it been more by trial and error?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not an operator, right? And to the point you made, like having a great operator is critical, right? You had a great operator and your partners for your sushi concept, Bluefin Sushi?
Blue Sushi.
Blue Sushi?
Yeah.
Right? Makes a world of difference, right? Having great management, a GM that is like, understands that it's the percentages and the numbers in the business, right? Shaking hands and kissing babies, great. But if that does not translate to like...
That's like 20-30% of your job.
That's right.
Them off hours, the numbers better be on point.
That's the work. Yeah. That's the whole job, right? So, each of my concepts, I have a management team that helps me run them. I'll create the idea, the vision, the brand. Like I'm the idea guy, right? Yeah. And just as far as, for us, knowing our strengths, right? Knowing our skill sets. And then like, who do we need to put around us that can complement us and ultimately allow us to win, right? So I know I'm not going to be in these restaurants running them, managing them myself. So it was important to find good partners to manage and run these operations, folks who can execute the construction, the design. It's been critical. And we're now just getting to a place where for me, I'm like, there's a there, right? I'm now starting to have my playbook that like concept 4, 5, 6 will be our best yet.
I'd be remiss because I know this about you. You have a knack for, and I actually stole it from you a little bit, of nurturing relationships and the value of those relationships. And really from the start, how did you go about early on in your career to see the value of building relationships with people, but not even expecting anything, just building them to get to know them and learn and understand? And also how is that translated to reaching your success, not only in any business that you're working on, but also hospitality as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think relationships are the most critical component of any business, right? Of anything, right? It's just like being able to facilitate positive relationships, being able to communicate effectively, right? Your points, your thoughts, listening to your partners and hearing what they're really saying. Like relationship building, I think is such an important skill set for anybody, but especially for athletes, right? As an athlete, you have the ability, because of your platform, to get a seat at any table, right? You can call somebody and say, hey, Sue would love to, learn more about how you guys are running this hospitality group. 99% of groups are going to be like, yeah, we'd love to have him and show him kind of our playbook and what we're doing. That's not unique to you and I, right? Any athlete in any city they have those opportunities, right? And a lot of guys don't take advantage of that. I was fortunate that, I lived one of my buildings, I lived next to Chris Gardner, who was the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, was about his life. Yeah. And coming in through the lobby one day, I saw Mr. Gardner and we exchanged, welcome and greetings. And I said, hey, I'd love to like pick your brain sometime for dinner. Yeah. Or over dinner or lunch. And he's like, let's do it right now. Yeah. And I think I actually had something else to do, but he was testing me like how serious are you about like connecting, right? So he's like, drop your stuff off, meet me over at Benny's Chop House in like 10 minutes. So I dropped my stuff and Mr. Gardner and I, we would get lunch or dinner like once every week or two at Benny's and just catch up. And I'd have an opportunity just to pick his brain and learn from him. There's also another gentleman, Vince Nacarado, who's very successful, you know, and Mr. Nacarado, same thing. He's like, hey, we'd grab dinner. I'd tell him about what I'm doing, what I'm up to. And what I loved about both Mr. Nacarado and Mr. Gardner specifically would just tell me, hey, that's a bad idea. or don't do that, right? Like he was just really direct. And Mr. Nacarado would chew on it. He'd think about it and he'd give me really insightful advice and thoughts. And what I found was in Chicago here, you know, whether it was any of the mayors and whether it was any of the CEOs or business leaders, because I was a Chicago Bear, former Bear even, that I could get support, help, I could get a playbook to help guide me or accelerate my success in any sector that I was looking to venture into, right? And, you know, so for our athletes, that's really an important aspect of your career that you can't neglect, right? You need to start thinking post-career, what are my gifts? What are my abilities? What do I want to be doing? And then like today, can I get plugged into a network with somebody who is top tier and has a successful playbook, successful program they're running in that sector. So you can learn it immediately and start to learn immediately.
Man, that's where people don't really realize that's where the unfair advantage comes from. It's not because you got money. It's not because you have all these other aspects or you're the smartest person or whatever. You came up with a brilliant idea. It's, do you have unfair advantages via relationships? And have you nurtured them to then say, oh, I trust you to give you this unfair advantage and support you with that? That's
right. You're 100 spot on. I mean, everyone was like, man, restaurants, money pits, right? You're going to lose a ton of money. Yeah, you're going to lose a ton of money if you're running a bad playbook, right? If you're running a bad program. Hey, there's groups out here printing money.
For sure.
And they're not doing the same thing everybody else is doing. They're doing something different. So if you can get with a relationship that gives you a peek behind the engine, and when you look at some of these guys who are really making money, you're like, okay, now I get why you're making money, because they're running. It's just not magic, right? They're running real strategy like and real programs.
It's a playbook that is set up and it's in tuned, but it has abilities to pivot with how the world is moving. And that's really the magic. And if you can't be seeing it, then you can't understand it. Before I get to my last question, can I get a dinner reservation to Trident?
Dude, like anywhere.
Come on, man. I'm staying in the hotel. I'm not a big dog like you to be able to have a penthouse and all these different things.
Don't listen.
But I'm nearby. I can walk across the street, and you just got to buzz me up so I can come over and see the spot.
Tradita?
Yeah, Tradita.
How many people?
You see the magic, man. I mean, you got to be there too. So I'm gonna need at least 6 seats.
Easy, got you.
All right.
Listen,
cool.
Listen. When I tell them, listen, Ndamukong Suh's in town, they're going to be like, yo, roll out the red carpet for this guy. You said. You're global. You're good, my guy.
I appreciate you. But last one for you, boss, man. This has been a pleasure. In your life and in your career, what is the biggest price you've had to pay for a breakthrough?
The biggest price that I've had to pay for a breakthrough. Ooh.
It can be monetary. It can be emotional. It can be family. It can be anything across the board.
Well, I mean, I'd say it's not monetary. I'd say it's like the biggest price that I've paid for a breakthrough. You know, I'd say it's probably more on the emotional side, right? My father had a near death, you know, he had a heart attack, you know, and those moments where you realize that nothing else really matters, right? Like, and here I am like I'm going to make all this money, right? And all this money is going to set the Idonijes up forever, right? But I'm not there. My time, it hasn't been given to what I now consider what's most valuable, right? And if I leave money for my nieces and my nephews, they're going to be like, oh, this uncle we had left us money. But they don't know me. We don't have memories we shared. We don't have time that we spent together, right? Like whatever I leave them will feel somewhat super surface and superficial because like our hearts were never connected because I've been in Chicago. They all live in Canada, so, I've got some catching up to do just from a family standpoint because I've been gone so long, right? It's like I've been here in Chicago since 2003, focused on building this thing for my family. And like my oldest niece is now 13. Last time I went home, she gave me a hug and disappeared.
Oh, that's no question. That's that age group.
She just went about her business, right? And as I reflected upon like my family, I've been so blessed, to still have my parents together, alive, to have my sister and my two brothers are like just my best friends, and although because of me, our relationship is probably not where it should be, right? We should be closer, right? We grew up so close, but I've been gone, right? So the price of the gap that's been created in these relationships that are really the most important to me, I think is really the biggest price, right? I've lost years that I probably can't get back, but I've made a commitment that like at least every quarter I'm going to go home, right? And I used to go home when I had like a reason to go home. And I don't need a reason, right?
Just get up and go.
They are the reason, right? It's just go home, be a son, be a brother, be an uncle, and really build the relationships with the people that if I lost everything tomorrow, who'd be there for me? Them. Right? They're the ones that are going to pick me up and like, tell me like, hey, you're going to be okay. Right. And there's just no one more important than family. And I think over the years, I've put the pursuit of financial stability and like success above everything. And because of that, there's a price that you pay, right? And now I've realized that, yes, that's important, but not more important than being with the ones that you love.
Yeah, man, you said it the best. I mean, putting that focus of financial stability over family and the most important things, which is in memories, we fight that every single day because of the hardship that we grew up. Parents from third world countries giving us everything off, the shirts off their back, everything. So we think what we're doing, which is best, is making sure everybody's stable in the family versus going back and saying, wow, we're stable. We've been stable for a long period of time. I just keep shooting for the North Star. I reached the North Star and I kicked this bad boy even further. And then that's my new one versus saying, all right, I can still have that North Star, but I'm in a position to where I'm not comfortable, but I'm in a good place where I need to create these memories more and more consistently, man. Man, Izzy, Israel Idonije, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming as always, boss. Good to see you.
Thank you.
T. Rowe Price proudly sponsors No Free Lunch. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the podcast participants and do not necessarily reflect those of T. Rowe Price. Their sponsorship supports the platform and does not imply endorsement of specific content or perspectives. What an amazing conversation with my guy, Izzy. I call him Izzy, Israel Idonije. But I think my biggest takeaway is a guy that came into the league in the NFL in 2003 and his over 11-year career only made $20 million. And I say only because of there's dudes that are making $20 million in 1 year. He has turned that into such a successful business opportunity because he learned how to foster relationships, leverage them, and grow with people and build teams and businesses outside of the sport of NFL. And that to me is amazing. And a lot of lessons learned throughout that conversation. Hey, that's our show. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, or I'm going to come find you to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.